My name is Madison Marino, and I am an associate at Spaulding Ridge. Thank you for taking a few short minutes to watch the capabilities around department-level budgeting and O&M planning for a utility company in Anaplan. The utilities industry relies heavily on their financial planning and analysis to support the business and make better decisions. It's extremely important for companies in the utility space to plan and forecast at their desired organizational level and have the ability to involve multiple business units in the process. Anaplan, being a cloud-based planning tool, provides powerful capabilities around financial planning, especially in areas such as operations and maintenance planning. Here in Anaplan, we have a page set up to show a bottoms-up budgeting approach for O&M planning. Planning for the company's O&M expense is done at the department level for each individual account that rolls into the O&M expense account. The final forecast and budget amounts produced from the planning process can then be summed into a consolidated total company view that can then be reviewed by end users such as the leadership and executive teams. In Anaplan, you have the ability to build out a forecast and budget methodology that best suits your planning process. On this page, we are using a year-over-year adjustments to set the baseline budget or forecast for our O&M expenses. And then below, we can review the final expense and make any manual overrides as necessary. The final outputs from the O&M planning process will then be used to feed into a final view of the P&L and other consolidated reports that can be also built and maintained within Anaplan. The planning process is done at a department level and can be done at even lower levels within the company structure. It can also be viewed at any of the subsidiary or entity levels within the organizational hierarchy, which will ultimately roll up to a total company view. So for this O&M planning process, for a specific department, you can review the prior year actuals for each O&M account and create a baseline forecast or budget by inputting a year-over-year percentage increase or decrease, which will reflect in the initial expense line down below. Let's say that you knew vehicle costs needed to add more vehicles on the road to service new customers as your service territory expanded into a new area, or for your assets and equipment expense, there is going to be an expansion in renewables or solar projects, which would require you to spend more on new equipment types. In these instances, you would know that these expenses would need to increase for the upcoming year, and you can adjust these by inputting that percentage to reflect the current year budget or forecast amounts. You can also have the ability to select how you would like to spread this baseline amount across the year. This selection will impact the initial expense shown on the table below. Since these monthly amounts are set by the forecast methodology above, you do have the ability to also input any overrides. This allows you to manually enter an amount if you knew you needed to adjust 1 month due to certain circumstances. For example, due to recent surges and severe weather storms in the spring, you may want to increase your disaster recovery expense for a particular month. You can simply enter in an override and you'd see that amount reflect in the final expense line. Finally, once the O&M planning is complete, the final budget and forecast expense will drive the O&M expense line on the income statement. Here, we have a reporting view in Anaplan, along with other KPIs and visualizations that shows the consolidated income statement. This is where you'll see the O&M line, which is currently pulling from the O&M planning page we were just on. If you would like to talk more around these capabilities, feel free to reach out to the contact information on the screen here. We would be happy to talk more. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about Anaplan.